Let's try on page Resh Gimel. And let's go down to the bottom of the Shefa, where he shows us a little bit of Rishash. We could take a look at it and just see what he says. So we went backward a little bit. So we're a little bit backward. So we're looking for where does the 72 come from. So he said of the Tishlum Baruch, and this is really the whole idea. It's a kavana that I'm not sure I'm ready for 100% to actually put into effect. But he wants to say that well, we know we see this in the Shemona Esrei. So let's see how this goes. Rayo b'tachidus adrash b'vor ki ku hu havaya pashut, v'ayin bet hu havaya maruba, v'kal hu havaya milui ma. So he says kal is what? Havaya with the milui of ma. Let me just slow down a little bit. B'revua, in the form of a revua. So all of these numbers, 130, these are those numbers. Let me go a little slower because I'm racing here a little bit. Now we want to say it like a different way. That's one way you could say this, how you get the kuav kal. So he said ba'ofen acher shaku hu shem avaya acha. So that's one avaya. V'kal hu chamisha shem avaya. So that's really the way we do it. So there's different ways of adding this up. Now it brings a bigger question of what is accomplished as a result of adding it in different ways. In other words, you're talking about light flows, I believe, and he has to be saying, to my way of thinking, he has to be saying something like the light flows differently according to the pattern that produces the number. Numbers go with malchus. So I don't know. This is a little bits that I can try to understand it. He said, "Va'avhu rivu havaya pashut." So then you take the havaya pashut and you make av like that. Because of Shem and Sason, so now the Shem and Sason writes. He says, Shem and Sason ki masha nichta b'tachidus adrash, what we wrote originally, hu b'tachidus derek u'ma'aver al muach hadas atzmo. So what does this mean? He says it's the derech and it's the passageway to the muach hadas itself. Aval hadas atzmo hu ku kal is just ku kal. In other words, the 72 has something to do with the passageway. I guess we said that before. V'heim hey havayas, and what are they? Exactly, hey havayas. Vav hu revua pashut. So it's revua of the pashut. It comes 72 also. Because of shekain ku befurish the el and drush base. So explain like this up above in the second drush. Daramida the whole. Shasham Gila Rabbeinu Sod Zeh. That's where he talked about this. Now let's try to get into this a little bit. I'm slow getting into this. So let's copy over here as Tziuri Hashemos. Actually, the images of these names are Mofiim B'Sidr of Rishash, that you could see these. They show in the Sidr of the Rishash. So here we are over here. We're going to get a little view of this. So let's see. He says Shesham Mevi as Kavanas Hamshachas Kafbeis Asyan. So there, over there, shows you what's pouring in. We said that the 22 letters come, I think, with the word. I'm not sure what the word atah. Whatever it is Kafbeis Asyan Yisod Zat L'Nuk to the Nook. So this is flowing in. Ha'omedet Behechel Kodesh Gadash and Debria. She's in the she's up at the top of Bria. So he says it flows like this, is that this is what's coming into her now. It's going to be these 22 letters. He says, Achakach, then after that, after the 22 letters flow into the Nook, Achakach, Mevi Kabbalah Shefa Hache Gevurah Shem Ku Kal Av V'Zalashona. So this is the way, see there's a Ku Kal Av, and there's a, which is probably the way it should be, there's a ku av kal. There's also that. That's where we see it too. So he says, let me read again. Achakach maybe kavon the shefa ha he gevurah shehem sod ku kal av zalashon la'amshech. What we're trying to do is to flow down, stream down ha'aris he gevurahs, the light of the 5 gezuras, mi yisod the ima, from the yisod the ima, the yisod the zer anpin, all the way down to the yisod the zer anpin. What happens then? V'sham na'asach b'vaya achas, and there they become havaya achas. Now, I started learning a little bit with this Gevurah, a little bit of the, what's his name? I blank on names now. Just 1 second. Okay. Nekudas HaKesef. In Nekudas HaKesef, he gives a definition of no, I think I got it mixed up. Anyway, so he says, and it goes through Mansapach, which is his Mansapach comes into it, and it flows into Avaya. The Gimel, so all of that is going through the Kli Yisod, the Zer Anpin, so the Mansapach of the sweetened Dinim. That's where a little bit I remember. The Gimel Kli Yisod, the Zad, and then it shows it like this. You have this is the 3 Kalim, 3 different parts of the Kalim of Zer Anpin. Then it says, Visham, Mischalekes, the Hey Havayas. So once you get there, it divides itself into 5 Havayas, which is gematria Kal. And Visham Mispashtem B'chagat Shalah, and from there they spread into her body. Bechinas Revua gematria Av. So that's what he wants to show it, and it looks like this. This is the Revua. So now you have Ku Kal Av, which is gematria Baruch. So that's another way that you could see it if you're interested to be able to look at that. Now, let me see where we got to. How much more time we have? We have 5 minutes. Let me just see if I can figure out where we're at. I know we're not there. Not there. Here. So he says, Ukuvar bi'arno la'el. Is that where we're at? Are we on page Reish Vav? Would you know? Let's go to number Samach Gimel, whether we're there or not. We'll try it from there. Number Samach Gimel said Ukuvar bi'arno, so we've already explained. 1 second. There we go. Okay. Ukavari be'arnu la'elki b'kol b'chinas saruk l'kabe b'chinas Rayo. Now, every aspect that you're dealing with here, he says you have to have a kavanah for the concept of Rayo. Rayo is Gevurah, it's gematria Gevurah. And he wrote like this, there's no difference between the beginning of the Shemona Esrei, Rosh Hashanah. There's no difference. There's only one difference. So but only because of the Inyan, the Kavanas of Rayo. Now we know that Rayo is a big part of this. Sha'ana Mosifin Alakabein Biyom Rosh Hashanah. B'kol b'china b'china, and he's talking there really about the Nesira. Be'berchos avos kamoshi is boyer. It takes place in the brachos of the avos, as we will explain, or as explained. About b'kol shar kavanos heim shavim. So the only difference is this Rayo. Then number samach dal is Rayo tzarich l'kavim b'kan. So the Rayo, you have to really have kavana over in this. Hu b'sod shlosh havayos and iskaros is the secret of the 3 Havayos that we're talking about, Mispashtos B'chagat, which spread into Hagat Shalah. K'noidach HaShecha B'kol Echad Mehem Hi B'gematria Av K'nizkar. Now let's see what this goes like this. It says, La'el Nisboyer, Oper Baba says like this, Ki Shefa Chadash Merames the Shem Havaya, that the Shefa there, which is really referenced by the name of Havaya, Mispashet B'shlosha HaKavim, it spreads down the 3 lines. Each line has its own revua of Havaya, which is a 72. So do we learn this already? Is this someplace we've been already? I'm not sure. But in each of the lines, there's only one Havaya in a revua. Even though that we see that there's 3 kavim. So all of them have this Havaya flowing down them. Rosh So therefore on Rosh Hashanah, what are we doing? He says, Rosh Hashanah monim as kol hashlosha havayas. We take all of the 3, we count them rather, in the Revua form. Which are found in these 3 lines. Av gives you the gematria Rayo. So Av has a lot of different meanings. Here somehow it manufactures itself into a Rayo. So he says, Shlosh Havayos b'Revua. So these are the 3 Havayos in Revua form, Hanimsoim b'Shlosh Hakavim, which are found in the 3 different lines. Hem Shlosh Pamim Av She'olim Rayo. So that's this Rayo is coming down. Now another place we learned that Rayo represents is the Yesod of the Nukva. I think that's what we learned. So here he's saying that he's talking about where the origin of this Rayo comes from. So the origin of the Rayo is really in the 3 lines. This is in the gestation period, where you have just flowing down those 3 lines are 3 Rayos. Shalosh Havayos b'Revucha nimson b'Shalosh Hakavim hem Shlosh Pamim Av She'olim Rayo. V'zecha b'Kuvan, this Rayo, that's what we want to say. There's the Sarek L'Kaveh b'Tevis Baruch. So this Rayo, you have to have this in mind. And what's actually producing it is that in the word Baruch, which is Kuav Kal, is the generation of these mochas, just to see it a little bit more through Kuav Kal going into the Nukva. Gavisha Gevar Nizka, the Ale, as we often mentioned above, Ki Rosh Hashanah Tzarek L'Kavim Bechinas Rayo. So Rosh Hashanah, you're going to have this Kavona. So every single aspect. Now he's not telling me what are the aspects he's talking about exactly. Maybe if I have time I'll be able to look at the Siddur a little bit ahead of time, or maybe we'll be able to look at the Siddur a little bit ahead of time and get an idea of what's going on over there. Okay, at any rate, that's it for today. Kol Tov.